Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might change the way you see love, loss, and what it truly means to be a man. And if you stay till the end, you'll understand why sometimes life breaks you, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you stronger. Now, let's begin. It started with a knock, 3 soft taps that cut through the silence of a Sunday morning. When I opened the door, 2 officers stood there, faces unreadable, hands resting on their belts. "Sir," one said, "we found a boy in your car. He says you're his father." For a second, I thought it was a prank, but the look in their eyes told me otherwise. I laughed, a dry, nervous laugh. "You've got the wrong guy," I said. "I don't have a son." But before I could explain, the cold steel of handcuffs locked around my wrists. Inside the car at the station, my reflection stared back. Tired eyes, unshaven jaw, the face of a man who's lost too much and said too little. I thought of the past I'd buried. 2 years of silence, the echo of a name I stopped saying. Her. We met in high school. Back then, love was simple. Stolen kisses, promises scribbled in notebooks, plans for forever. But forever has an expiration date, and ours came quietly. No shouting, no slammed doors, just a phone left unlocked, laughter that wasn't mine, photos of her smiling beside a stranger. She looked younger, freer, like she'd shed me the way a snake sheds its skin. That night, I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply sat there, realizing that the woman I loved had already left, long before she packed her bags. And me? I was too afraid to admit that I'd stopped being enough. I gave her everything, my time, my sleep, my dreams. I carried her pain like it was my own. And when she broke me, I still told myself it was love. So when the divorce came, I didn't fight. I just left quietly. House keys on the counter, wedding ring in the drawer. And I never looked back. Until that morning. At the station, a detective slid a photo across the table. A little boy with messy hair and eyes that looked familiar. "He called you Dad," he said. My throat tightened. The boy wasn't mine, not by blood. But the name on his papers? My last name. She'd kept it. Whether by mistake or convenience, I'll never know. Turns out she'd left him alone that night, crying in a parked car while she went inside a bar. Her new boyfriend panicked, drove to my old address and left him there, thinking it was still her house. That's how he ended up in my car. That's how the universe brought him back to me. The police apologized. Mistaken identity, case closed. But I couldn't forget his face. The same eyes that once looked up to me from a stroller, calling me Daddy. He wasn't my son, but he was my story's unfinished chapter. That night, I sat in the dark with a glass of whiskey, replaying every mistake, every loss, every version of me that died trying to be good enough for someone who never stayed. And then, something inside whispered, "Do better this time." The next morning, I filed for guardianship, not for revenge, not for redemption, but because that boy deserved one person who wouldn't walk away. In court, she tried to play the victim. Tears, excuses, old wounds reopened, but I came prepared. Evidence, timelines, messages, truth laid bare. Her lawyer stuttered, her mother stayed silent. The judge looked at me, then at the boy's file. "Temporary custody granted," he said. I didn't celebrate. I just exhaled. For the first time in years, now he calls me Dad. And this time, it means something real. Not perfection, not blood, but presence. Every morning I pack his lunch. Every night I read him a story. I remind myself that love isn't about who you lose. It's about who you show up for. She still calls sometimes. Not for him, for me. Maybe guilt, maybe curiosity. But the man she once knew doesn't live here anymore. He died quietly the day I stopped begging to be loved. The man who stands now, he builds, protects, and heals. So if you've ever been broken, betrayed, or made to feel like you weren't enough, remember this: you can start again. You can rebuild. And sometimes, what's meant for you won't arrive until you've survived the fire. If this story moved you, hit the like button, not for me, but for everyone who's fighting silently to become better. Subscribe for more real stories that remind you, pain doesn't define you. It refines you.